If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say it.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us have been brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one who has to walk through it.
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time is coming.
That
Train can be stopped. And it's already here.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep that rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say it.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't
The
say.
whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us have been brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one who has to walk through it.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time is coming.
That
Train can be stopped. And it's already here.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say it.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us have been brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one who wants to walk through it.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time is coming.
That
Train can be stopped. And it's already here.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us have been brought to bring
I can only show you the door.
wake.
You're the one that wants to walk through it.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time is coming.
That's
Trains can be stopped.
Right?
Already here.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
This is your last chance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to The True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. Once again, that's The True Perspective, the TRU Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. Live on, currently, right now on Facebook, Rumble, X, and YouTube. You can find it on x.com, formerly known as Twitter, at TRU _Warface. YouTube is at The True Perspective, the TRU Perspective. It's pretty much The True Perspective on all other major platforms. On TikTok, it's The True Perspective, I think 1985, because they got, or 85, because that channel, I've had to make a profile for that a couple times already. I've gone over that in past podcasts, but tonight's podcast, we're going to be talking about child services, DCYF, and probably a little bit touch base a little bit on child trafficking. I'm sure the conversation will lead there, but I know that this is going to be like probably more of a personal case towards with the guest that's going to be coming on, Becka Ray. I think she has a bit of a background of a personal case that's been going on. I don't know a great deal about it, but I have some perspective on it, but I want her to tell her own story in her own words. So I don't want to, put anything out there that might be misinformation. And there's also like a lot of DCYF stuff that happens. I mean, listen, this thing, this organization, DCYF, for anyone that doesn't know it, it's like Protective Child Services, and in a nutshell, and I guess in a perfect world, it pretty much protects children, but there's also a detriment side to it, where it actually treats parents unfairly or families unfairly, especially children, and children even end up going missing in a lot of cases. In fact, Rhode Island, I think back in 2018, 2019, there's about 45 missing children, from DCYF, from Child Protective Services, under the care directly under DCYF. At the time, I think the name of the director of DCYF was Trisha Piccolo, and the mayor, governor at the time, was Gina Raimondo. And yes, I believe the Providence mayor was Mayor Alorza, but Gina Raimondo was the former governor at the time, and it was under her watch as well. So there's actually an article of that I could we could read it over. It says, this article says, hold on, let me put this on screen for everybody to see. What's going on, Becca? Becca, do you hear me? Perfect. Yes, I hear you. I was just actually talking about real quick about trying to open up the show with DCYF, and there is a case of 45 missing children back in 2018 when Gina Raimondo was governor of Rhode Island. That's more on the Rhode Island case. I know that you're out in it's New Bedford, right? Okay. Right. Real quick, I'm going to show that on screen because I just brought it up to attention. I'll introduce you real quick. I know you're just jumping in. Where's that screen share? So yeah, everyone that's tuned in. What I was talking about earlier with Gina Raimondo being the governor of Rhode Island at the time, January 30th, according to this article, it says 2018. You can find it on rga.org. I'll put that. I'll actually put that article in the comment section. Briefly, where was I reading earlier? All right. So in this article, I'll just read the first top. Everybody, when you have time, anybody else after the show, check it out. It says, despite months of disturbing reports of alleged neglect by employees at the Rhode Island Department of Children, Youth and Families, Democrat Governor Gina Raimondo has still failed to reform the agency and solve its serious problems, and now her administration faces even more criticism. So at the time, Gina Raimondo was, again, the governor of Rhode Island. I'm not sure. I haven't looked too far into it since now that Governor Dan McKee. So I don't know if there's any information on that, but I know I'll share this. I'll just show this up on screen really quickly too. Is that there were 45 missing children at the time. It might even be more now, but at the time, oh, did I even put that on screen for y'all? I apologize if I didn't. Here we go. This one. So it says here, this is back in June 9th, 2015. So yeah, this goes back even further. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, she was governor. Real quickly, it says 45 kids in DCYF care listed as missing. 45 children in the care of Rhode Island's Child Welfare Agency are currently listed as missing. Rhode Island Public Radio learned about the number missing after a 14-year-old girl in the agency's care was found in New Jersey with an alleged sex trafficker. So I'll put that in the comments as well. That's an article back from June 9th of 2015. You can find that. I think it says, yeah, the publicsradio.org is who posted it. I'll put that in the comment section for y'all. But yeah, I mean, so tonight's show is we're gonna touch base on that. I know Becka Ray has a personal story about some of this stuff that I don't know if it's leads to any of that. But I don't want to go into the story. I'm gonna let her tell her case. But hold on, Beck. I want to bring you on screen really quickly. Don't be shy. Is the first time being on a podcast? Okay. All right, good. I have the honor then. Move this. There we go. All right. So nice to meet you finally and talk to you. I know that you and I have been going back and forth. Actually, I think it was a group. I think it was a group page, and I was actually trying to find that so I could link that in the comment section. I can't remember. It had something to do with like Predators or something like that. New England. It might be like New England Predators or something like that. A lot of cases, and then you put me on to someone that went under the name of Untold Greatness.
Oh yeah, Leslie. Yeah.
Is that her name, Leslie?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Okay,
She's like put me on to pretty much everything that I'm doing right now. She's
nice.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. So I talked to her briefly a few months ago, probably a month and a half ago or something like that. I don't know if she has her own podcast coming out. I think she mentioned something about it.
Yeah.
But I was trying to find her page too, but it looks like she may have deactivated for temporarily. But yeah, she posts a lot of good information on that too, and I think that she was in that group for quite a while. But yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, first time.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, she definitely is a huge advocate. She definitely gave me the courage to kind of come out and like say like, hey, this is what's going on. Because when people get involved in DCF, it's not like a good thing. It's never a good thing. It's automatic stigma of you're a bad person, you're a bad parent, something's wrong with you. What's up? What's really going on?
Yeah,
Instead of like, they're supposed to be a social service agency. They're supposed to help you socially. They're not supposed to kidnap your kids, and that's what they're known for. And not even just that. It's like people have we're all just humans at the end of the day. So they're just working in these offices. And if you piss off one of them, they might just have that personality of like, you'll see. You know what I mean?
right.
And there's no checks and balances to that. It's really just kind of like, you get who you get, and it's just it goes how it goes. Um, and there's no checks and balances. And when you get into probate court, they automatically go by whatever DCF says. It doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, if you've been a certified medical assistant for 13 years. It doesn't matter if you're a legal advocate. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a lawyer. They don't care who you are. If you're going against DCF, they're like, you're wrong. Especially if they have sided with DCF and done something that's like really bad, and that ends in state created danger, which is, when they put the kids into these situations that are dangerous, where they go missing, or they're with their predator, or they're just in a foster home full of kids that are, doing inappropriate things, whatever the case may be. Even like group homes, like they put kids, but they talk about this reunification, but they're never really trying. That's never really the goal. They're so quick to adopt kids out. They're so quick to put kids on medication, but they really don't have any type of family services that incorporate the entire family. Like if you have an abusive person, if you have they don't even try. They want to get you in paperwork, and they don't. And I wasn't a foster kid, but I was involved in the DCF system as a kid. I ran away, ended up in DCF care, and instead of servicing my family, because mind you, this is from probate court, instead of taking care of my family like they should have done when I was a child, they tortured my parents in court, and didn't help our family at all. And now I see that it's just like a generational cycle, that this is how they keep us involved by not addressing the actual core issues. They keep us coming. This keeps their revenue, this keeps their cycles. This ensures that we repeat the same patterns as our parents, and we end up in the system just like they did. And I could tell you that's my life. That's how it's gone. Instead of giving my family services like they should have done when I came in, reporting domestic violence and saying, hey, this guy has tortured me and tormented me and my kids. He's run me into instability. I have nowhere to live. I have knocked on every door. I've tried everything. Can you guys help me? And they were like, we'll help your abuser. And
could all right. So for everyone else that I don't. So I was over the last couple of days, and I've been paying attention to your timeline too. I know you post a lot of things about this. So my curiosity is, what could you give context? And before you do that though, if there's any running case or anything like that, I would just say avoid saying.
Yeah, incriminating things.
Try to, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if the case is already fulfilled, then I think it would be, whatever. But
yeah, I mean, in my eyes, it's definitely fulfilled. They've definitely decided what they believe or want to ignore, I should say.
Yeah.
So for me, it's decided. Nothing. I'm not scared of what they're going to do. They've done it. They've done it. They've put my kids in danger. I called them for help. I was being severely abused. The things that he was doing to me, I still have a hard time talking about it. That's why I post about it, because it's hard to talk about it sometimes. And when I was dealing with social workers, they're supposed to be trained, licensed people to identify severe trauma, instead of just saying like she's hysterical. Of course, like I'm explaining to you the most intimately, deeply depraved parts of my life that I have endured, that my children witnessed, that resulted in severe injuries, scars, and lifelong trauma that I'll live with. So,
yeah, you not to cut you off, you have posted a video that's I mean, it's graphic to the point where it's like it's showing actual injury to yourself. I don't know if I don't know if you're showing anything of children, but you definitely are showing yourself. What's the, for whatever you're comfortable with saying, what is the context of because it sounds like the relationship at first, the relationship, whatever, obviously there's abuse involved and there's children involved. When you reached out to DCYF during that, what's the context to that story leading up to that?
So he had kicked in my door. at my apartment. I had a 4-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, and I have 7 kids, so it was perfect for us. We were all snuggled in. It was real nice.
Mhm.
I had just had our last child, but we were estranged. He really didn't know where I lived, um, and I was already seeing someone else. I was kind of like, I'm done with this dude. Like, please, like,
Mhm.
and I'm scared of him. I have been scared of him. I've always, he's not a good dude. Just say
Mhm.
that. Um, so that night, I had someone in my house, and I get a ring on my doorbell, and I'm like, "Who the hell?" It's like 2 a.m., and I'm like, "What the hell?" And I look out my door, and it's him, and I'm freaked out. I'm like, "Oh
Mhm.
my god." And I see him walking around my house because I'm like going from window to window, and I see him walking back to his car, and I freaked out, like, thinking he was gonna get a gun,
Mhm.
and, when he came back to my door, he just kicked it right in, and they called the police, but when the police came, he spoke to the police. I never spoke to the police, and the police left, and I don't really deal with the police where I'm from. After everything I've been through too, they don't wanna take reports, they don't wanna help you. Most of them are domestic. I've had my experience with New Bedford PD, Brockton PD, and I just was not I just don't generally call the police. I did that used to call the cops all the time.
Mhm.
When I would have a domestic, I would call them, and they would come, and they would remove him. It would be a restraining order, and then, he'll come right back.
Mhm.
And it would just be this coercive control situation. So, that evening when he broke into my home, he broke my ribs. I fractured my 10th rib. I was unable to drive. He pushed me into I don't know, he pushed me into something, and then he was trying to get to the guy that was in the house. Um, and I ended up with bruises all over me. Um, and I left my home after that with my kids. I fled.
So
Um,
this guy that di you had someone there with you?
oh yeah, I was already out of this relationship with this person. I was already gone past this. It was already done.
Where and what happened? What happened to him? Like, what did he do? Like, he was just watching you get.
No, he jumped out. He jumped out of the window because of the violence that he heard. He was like, didn't know if the dude was coming with a gun, just saw this big dude charging at him, so he dipped out the window, and I don't blame him. I was right there behind him. Like, but my kids are inside. So,
Mhm.
I got beat up. My kids were all there. And he goes out and talks to the police. So that's how that went. And I knew better than to talk to police when I have a house full of kids. That's automatic DCF. And like I said, the stigma of DCF is your kids are getting taken. You're not going to receive any services. They're not going to protect you from this dude who just broke into your house. I already know that.
Right.
So I'm not even dealing with it.
Right. Wow.
Um, but and that is kind of how he had me anyway, was he knew that I wasn't the type to call the police, and I really didn't wanna get engaged in court, and I didn't wanna deal with DCF. So I make the perfect, victim in that
Mhm.
sense that, I didn't wanna deal with that. And because of his threats towards me, his, familial connections, he's told me that they're they've killed a doctor in Rhode Island, that, his family killed a doctor.
Hmm.
So, and when you look up unsolved murders, there's a doctor who's unsolved so, I just have concerns for my safety and stuff, and so I just made the decision to not really talk about what had been going on in my life, like, a lot. Like, I used to have to send people evidence behind his back. I used to have to go to the doctors behind his back, have abortions behind his back. I've had 11 pregnancies with this dude, um, and that's insane. And I've had 4.
So now, with what happened to so you're obviously in the DCYF case battle, right?
Yeah, and not even. I just called them for intervention. It wasn't like, "Come get the kids." Like, "I need you guys to put eyes on these children and make sure that everything's okay, but also
Mhm.
you need to have a record of what he has done to me,
Mhm.
and to my children, because now he's completely alienated me from my children. He removed them from the school that they were in. Like,
Mm.
I was trying to co-parent with this psychopath, and, he's just sick of me. He's because you can tell I have an attitude now. I'm done. I'm not the one. Um I'm calling the police if you touch me, if you come up on me, I'm reporting it. Okay. I'm never going to let it slide again. I'm never going to be your victim again. And he knew that. So he immediately took the kids because he knew they were going to go into counseling, that they were going to get therapy for what was happening, and that I was going to probate court on him. So he beat me to the punch. That's all, simply. And mwah, chef's kiss. Perfect. He did that very, very well.
Mhm.
And, DARVA method, deny, accuse, reverse, and you're the victim now. And that's pretty typical. And they should be kind of trained in that stuff, but they're not. So from there, I just asked them for assistance. And they know, they have concerns about the kid's father. Their family has a black label on it for severe child abuse, not just with him, but with his entire family circle. His father, his stepmother, his mother. There's serious issues with the whole family, and felony issues,
Mhm.
felony child abuse, drug running, prostitute. You name it. You name it, it's there. And after the state decided that he was suitable for my children to be with, that broke me. That really broke me. It was like as if I was the one who was beating people up, and that as if I was the one who was threatening people with guns, and who was, bragging about murder, and who was beating these kids black and blue, who
Mhm.
was he used to do this thing, or I'm sure he still does, because this is what his father did. He used to key knock the kids with his middle finger and key knock them in their temple like this, and leave bruises and welts on their head. And that's like they put me to have supervised visitation with my children as if that's how I behave with my children,
Mhm.
simply because they didn't like the fact that I called the worker completely incompetent, and I told her that she should be fired and removed from her job permanently. They took offense to that, and instead of correcting the social worker, who didn't even go and look at videos, who didn't even look at his criminal who didn't even care, she didn't give a shit, um, because I guess my attitude is too much, and that's unfortunate, because you should be able to see past someone's trauma and somebody's, when they have medical records and they have text messages and they have pictures of, I mean, you can see my scar to this day. I mean, you might not be able to really, but it's right here.
Yeah.
It's never going away. And I didn't do that to myself. My family knows how it happened. He knows how it happened. I've taken a polygraph test. I'll take another one. I'll take as many as I need to. When it comes to my kids, I homeschooled or breastfed. I did all that stuff.
Well, I mean, it's understandable that you're going to an agency. You're looking for help. Obviously, there's a severe situation going on, and you're trying to figure that out. But obviously, you have your kids in mind, and for you to come with an attitude isn't really unreasonable, or whatever emotion that you're feeling isn't unreasonable.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see, and obviously, because I mean, if you deal with any type of public service, whether it be, the health department, DCYF, or anything that has to deal with the state, yeah, I mean, or the judiciary system. I mean, it's all like they're all almost all the time they're always super dismissive, especially in cases like this. I hear it all the time. I mean, I know a lot of people. I actually know a lot of people that have gone through it, unfortunately. And I wanted to touch on what you were saying. These things, there's always a story to why these things lead up to the situations that they do. And it's unfortunate because on one hand, you got a guy here that probably, I mean, it just sounds like he has a lot of soul searching to do if he's done any at all. But if he had a rough upbringing in childhood, I mean, and I'm in no way am I trying to make excuses for any actions. You have to take responsibility for what you're doing. But having that type of abuse, I'm familiar to it. You know what I'm saying? But it all depends on like how you got to take responsibility for that. Sometimes you have to turn that pain into power in a positive way. I'm not, everyone's different. I can't speak for them, but what I could say is like, with a rough upbringing like that, hurt people. You know what I'm saying? So, but in no way am I cushioning that as a way to take away responsibility for the actions. But ultimately, ultimately, a lot of the blame relies right on the system right now, because from what you're telling me, there's a history here. I can never wrap my mind around the fact that when you go to these systems for help, and it's almost like the worse the situation, the less they want to help you in it. You know what I'm saying? If it's
Yeah.
pristine, if it's like a pristine situation where it's like, oh, like, some asshole just calls and says, hey, take this person's kids because their kids are loud, or whatever the hell, stupid reason like that, because there's people out there that do that. But
Yep.
they're like, oh, that we, we're not, they figure out that it's nothing. It's like a pristine situation. It's not. It's one of those situations where it's not, where it's really not a case. And then you have something like yours where it's like, why aren't you, why aren't the tax-paying dollars? You're supposed to be investigating these things. So,
Like, yeah,
wow.
it's really comes down. I think a lot of my friends have told me, like, it's not just DCF. They're enabled by the bar, and just like you said, it's every system. Every
Mm,
time you do anything, whether it's DOR, whether it's any system, whether you're trying to get unemployment,
yeah.
you always end up at the bar association. That's what it boils down to. The
Mm,
bar has been put in place to protect and shield these agencies when they do things wrong. You're entitled to due process. You're entitled to have your rights, recognized. And if somebody is retaliating against you because they don't like you, that's a crime.
right.
People, they can't just do things like that. They really cannot, and it's unfortunate that a lot of the systems operate like this. And I find that the liability is very high, especially if they're to go against what DCF says, and
Mm.
something bad happens.
Who
Especially
who goes against DC? What do you mean?
like the probate courts,
Oh, yeah,
they're
yeah.
supposed to always work, because it gives the appearance of, coordination, and that it's
Mm,
seamless, and that DCF never gets it wrong. And, they really know that they really messed up with my case. And that's why they are mad. I think that I'm very vocal now because I've been quiet for
mm,
like a year and a half.
right.
And now I'm at the point of like, you guys are violating completely everything in every DV law, every DV law. Anybody who has been convicted of any DV crime is not to be awarded custody of children.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, once DCF got on the phone in our hearing and said, "Oh, we think the custody should go to the dad," they said because I didn't cooperate with them, which is nuts. I called them.
Hmm.
Um, that's what they said in open court, but they also said that dad had no criminal record, dad had no drug use history, dad had no DV history, dad had no child abuse history, nothing. He has
Mm.
certified 51As. He's on the registry.
What's
So,
what's what is that? I'm sorry.
a 51A is like a report of neglect or
Oh,
abuse. So he's had those in previous relationships with women where he has violated a woman in front of her child, and it has resulted in a 51A report. And it was supported because he was in fact doing crazy shit in front of a child. Excuse my
mhm.
language. Um,
You're good.
but in Massachusetts, DV law says that when a man has been convicted, or a person, doesn't matter, man, woman, whoever, right? Because everyone can be a psycho.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you are not to put that child with that person. And they did that. They also put my child with him without him being on the birth certificate. That's against the law. That's an illegal order. So they're doing a lot of things that they're not supposed to do to try and cover their tracks. And because I am so vocal, they like to kind of provoke me to discredit what I'm saying, to make it seem
Mhm.
like DCF has credence in what they're saying. Um, when in reality, it's right. I'm just righteously indignant. I have a personality. I'm from Boston. I don't play this. Like where I'm from, you don't do this type of stuff to people. I
Mhm.
hold you to a moral code especially if you're a professional. I
Mhm.
hold you to a way higher moral code. And unfortunately, there's a big blue wall of silence that surrounds this because, you know, technically, when someone commits a crime against you, retaliation, when they perjure themselves, when they misrepresent facts, when they are willfully blind to
Mm.
crimes, those are crimes. technically, you are supposed to be able to go and file criminal complaints against these people, and they are to be investigated. Now, if you try to go through this process, you will hit every wall, you will go through every loophole, and they will fight you all across the way just to have some recognition because it's their brothers and sisters that they're going to have to go against,
Mhm.
fortunately. But if people did their jobs, we wouldn't have this mess that we're in.
So not only are you fighting a case to get to get your children back to you because of X, Y, and Z. This, has cases on him, or has criminal records on him,
Hmm.
but also the judiciary system isn't complying with their own laws,
Hmm.
or the law rather, in order
Yeah.
to in order to have that uh, in order to seek justice for that. What, like, what under what, like, how? Because I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. If there's a track record already, there's an obvious case of abuse, especially if you got pictures and you
Mhm, and I
and
have
you
3 older kids too who are 13, 12, and 10 who wrote statements, who were ignored by DCF. DCF laughed at my kids, um, like, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, not just that, but also living,
does he
you
have
know.
like does he have political ties or something, or like what? I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, he knows people.
Huh?
Yeah, he's very well connected.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, he knows people for sure.
Wow. So so do you have a civil case out, or are you like?
That's coming. That's
Okay.
next. That's
That's
because
going to be my next question for you, is like, if it sounds like all of this is a civil case.
yeah, unfortunately, it should have never gotten this far. They should have been decent with me,
Mhm.
seeing that my homelessness, which, they wanna use against me. I'm like, "He fucking kicked in my door. I was homeless because of him, because I
Mhm.
was fleeing the man." Uh, they wanted to use that against me. I'm like, you see my house? Here it is."
Mhm.
So, it's like I what can they say about me? What can they say? That I talk crazy to him in text messages, that I'm a roaring bitch. Yeah, true, true, true. Never gonna change. But that should tell them something else. I am a fucking fierce protector of my children.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't stop. I
And
don't
he's not.
stop.
I mean, like, have you and him like tried to make? I mean, I'm only saying this because even if there would be a type of possibility, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It sounds really bad to even go to this route. But has there been any talks between you and him, under some type of whatever civil case, judiciary case, to where there could be a, what do you call it,
Like a
like,
mediation.
yeah, like that, to where, like, a week here, a week with him, and a week with you, according, with the children, is what I mean. Like, has that? I know that's probably
No.
a route that you're not even trying to go,
Oh, well,
by
I
knowing about
would
the
be
circumstances.
open. No, yeah, that's a great
Mhm.
question.
Yeah,
Interrupt. Yeah, I wouldn't I've been waiting. I'm
yeah.
saying off, but they wanna hold on to, "She needs supervised visits, she's unstable, she's abusing medication."
Mhm.
They wanna hold on to that, so and then they wanna find out where I live, which this man has kicked down my door twice. "You're never gonna find out where I live. It's never happening. You
Mhm.
guys will not protect me. Your court clerks don't like me." They will easily get the slip. I know better. So, they wanna keep going after things that they know I won't give, in
Mm.
order to avoid any type of mediation. Again, just to make me look like I'm a just total degenerate or something, instead of just saying, "Let's get to the core issue." She's not gonna let you know where she lives. That's not gonna happen.
Mm.
She has address protection program for a reason, like, technically, the state should see that anyway. They should have access. I digress, though. What do I know?
Right.
Um, so it's kind of just like they're just trying to they're mad. They're mad. They really messed up according to the law. I don't have a criminal record. I don't have drug issues. Like, even from this time when they're like saying, like, my ex is saying I was abusing medication, I had just started a brand new job at a hospital and I had
Mhm.
to take a drug test. I'm like, perfect. I've had 7 kids. You know how many drug tests you have to take? Like
Right.
It's like if you're gonna say something, make it true, because it's gonna come out. It's all gonna come out in the civil suit, and unfortunately, I didn't wanna take it to that point, but they're instead of accommodating me and being like, "Sure, here, we'll docket your notices that you're putting us on notice about the crimes that have occurred in the case and the things that we're overlooking or maybe that haven't been brought to our attention properly. Instead
Mm.
of putting it on your docket, Rebecca, we're gonna ignore it, we're gonna reject it, we're gonna let you know that we're not gonna help you at all, that good luck." And so when you can't even docket into your own case a special appearance or a notice of fraud, those are standard. That's pretty standard. It's not like I was doing something like, oh, or I've been studying law for a while. I've been a legal advocate for about 10 years now. I was a certified medical assistant for 13 years before that. Well, combined, simultaneously, sort of. But um, I kinda, like, know a little bit of stuff, and I was also going for my associate's degree when he kicked in my door, and ruined my set he ran my life off the tracks. I was gonna go into law. So
Mm.
I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and they just instead of doing anything proper or, like, holding anyone to sort of like a standard and saying, what have you, they all kind of just doubled down and just, like, are making it worse for the how everybody looks. Like, the registrar of probate and family is looking at my Facebook stories instead of replying to my emails.
Wow.
Like, why are you doing that? Are
Mm.
you trying to, it's just the blue wall of silence, though, because they're all complicit, and they know that they have broken so many laws that they're too far gone now to turn
Yeah,
back.
that's what it that's what it mostly sounds like. That's what it mostly sounds like. Like now that they've ignored and neglected so many things, so many, potentially so many laws that now that if it gets brought back into the court, you now have judiciary proof that they messed up. So now you can actually sue. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, you could probably still you could do it now. I mean, but
yeah,
they're just going to make it harder for you because now you have an actual a civil suit against the state against the no against the town of
yeah,
New Bedford. Um,
it's gonna be a big one.
and even that's crazy too because if they're working like that together as they are, man, you got a battle in front of you. Unfortunately,
Well, and you're right, but I
Mm.
think kind of like that's my personality. It was built for this, I
No,
took
yeah,
my
I'm not trying to discourage you in any way. Like you're a mom. I mean, you're a parent. You love your children, and I totally understand that as a father. So uh yeah, I mean, you got a hell of a fight ahead of you. It may seem like it's an uphill battle, but it's a battle that it's worthy of fighting for. Children are always worthy of fighting for, especially when you have the greater intention on wanting them to be safe and keeping them safe. And
yeah.
I'm sorry that you're going through that. I'm sorry for them that they're going through that too. That's the unfortunate part. But what's making me angry about this though is that the system is actually failing the people, you, uh, most certainly the children in this. How long has this battle been going on for?
It's been since December of 2023.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrible, and
Hmm.
the courts called DCF and were like, "Are you sure about this? Are you
Hmm.
sure about this?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're sure."
Oh, the DCF called the courts to see that they were sure about doing what they've been doing to you.
The probate courts called DCF
Yep.
and said, "Are you sure about this?" And they doubled down and said, "Yeah, we're sure."
Wow.
Yeah. So they had full
Wow.
opportunity to recant, to go and just say, "Hey, do we wanna, like, check this out again?" Or, like,
Mhm.
go and talk to some collaterals because they won't talk to any of my collaterals. They won't talk to anybody that knows me or my kids. My
Mm.
kids were diagnosed with PTSD 6 months after being with him because they were in a shootout when he was a target of, and then they were involved in a raid a couple months later. So when I say state created danger, this is
Mm.
what I mean because this is what I was running from with this dude. It was always He was a target of a shooting in 2018 in a mosque. Like, they came for him. Like, they're gonna keep coming for him.
The
So
mosque. Wow.
yeah, I didn't even wanna bring that up, but,
No, uh,
um,
wow.
yeah. So he's a target. He's not a safe person, and unfortunately, this my case is not like unique by any means. And the reason that I'm even doing anything that I'm doing is because I want people to know that they have the right too. I have
Mhm,
so many people who have told me, like, I know this woman 5 years. Her kid has been stuck in a hospital. The kid is crying, running away, trying to come home, over medicated, not being fed, and they're just running up the check,
mhm,
traumatizing this family, ignoring her, and acting like she has no rights whatsoever. They're putting
mhm,
her on alcohol screenings to the point where now they want, instead of just regular piss tests, they want her to get liver function tests. Huh? Yeah. After
wow.
5 yeah,
Wow.
after
Liver
5
function testing. I didn't even know they do that unless you're like your liver's actually failing or something.
yeah, they only do that when you're like a dialysis patient or you're on heart meds, like, so the fact that, like, and we all hide in silence and shame because
Mhm,
we're like, "Oh my god, my kids have been taken away, I'm a horrible piece of shit." You're
mhm,
not. You more than likely, you probably needed services that
mhm.
they should have gotten you instead of demonizing you and removing your kids and then medicating them because the kids are all traumatized. That's
Right.
what they do. DCF in Massachusetts had an audit in 2022 that showed that they over-medicated all these kids because they had removed them and jacked them all up, so they just threw them on meds and said, "Now
Mm,
they're fine. Now they're fine." Don't bring them back to their families. Let's put them in places where they get even more abused by people that have no blood relation to them and that
mhm,
really don't care about these kids. There was another case in Massachusetts. It was called the House of Horrors.
mm.
Um,
I think I read about that.
it might have been Mass or CT, I might be getting
Yeah.
confused, but they ended up paying out so much money for those kids because they were put and taken from their homes and put into situations that were far worse than their homes ever were,
Mhm.
and, just totally inappropriate, just, like, all the reports that were given, all the warnings that were given to
There was
DCF.
like I think I remember there was like pedophilia going on and all that stuff, and
Yes, the kids were, like, locked in cages and just ignored. The kids were making these reports and the workers were ignoring them. Those
mm,
people need to be in jail.
mhm.
And if not in jail, on some side
Yeah,
of sort of
yeah,
is
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Yeah, the workers for sure,
yeah, and
along
then
with whoever involved with it.
I
Because
agree.
'cause at that time, you're complicit.
Yes,
You're
you are
complicit.
complicit. Yeah, and, like, I don't know. And also I always have to talk about this, the bar, though. The bar defends these people, like, we can't even get to them, because they're so protected by
Meaning, like,
the
that's
bar association.
got it,
Like,
got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the lawyers that they have in place that, and this is the other thing. If you're dealing with DCF and you're dealing with unethical lawyers,
Mm,
complain to the bar. File criminal complaints. If they perjure themselves, file those criminal complaints. Even if they don't accept them, this is how you build your case. You're building your case, you're building your evidence that they're working as a blue wall of silence against you or against anybody that's trying to get some sort of
mm,
justice, due process
mm,
um, at all. You have to know your rights, and people have to be encouraged to stand on it and not feel like I'm so afraid. I can't even go in. I personally am so afraid to go into courthouses. I can't even go into a police station. I call them and say, "Can you send me this?" And they refuse. They won't help me. But you have to stand on it. You have to do what you have to do, and you have to find what works for you through this process to get through it because they can't just keep committing crimes on people and ruining people's families and livelihoods,
mhm,
defaming people's names, and ruining kids' lives at the end of the day.
mhm.
That's what it boils down to, is that we're gonna have a society of children who are so jacked up and like we do now,
Yeah, we do.
traumatized,
Mm,
that like, I can speak for myself. They didn't give me any type of services after my parents' divorce when they saw how contentious it was and still ordered me to go with somebody who was abusive. They
mm,
didn't care, and that set me up for the cycle that I'm in. I take my own I obviously have accountability for my own self and
mhm,
my own decision making but also understanding the part of the process that probate court played in my life in a real way and not protecting me or my mother. So,
mm.
I see it as a continued cycle.
Yeah, it's I mean, you go into a perpetual cycle of violence and fear um and then when you're trying to seek for the help that you need, you're denied it. At
Yeah.
the and when you actually really need it, look, you go to the system in order to seek help, in order to seek some mediation between the issue that you're going through, especially as severe as what yours sounds like, and then they turn their back on you, and they don't want to
Yeah.
help because they don't want to file the paperwork or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to deal with, because that's the system. A lot of the time they just kind of other people. They just like, oh, like,
Yeah.
you're in that field to help people. You're a policeman to help people. You're a judge to do the right thing on following law. You're in the child protective services because you're there to protect children and families and make sure and investigate that, even if it sounds, or maybe it might even be a situation where it's like these people are bothering my family or whatever. If they do their investigation the correct way, it doesn't, they're like, okay, this, that, and the third, there's a history of violence here, or there's a history of this there's this going on. And if everything checks out, then fine. But if everything doesn't check out, where's the help? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the taxpaying dollars actually going to? And not only that, forget that part. Where's the humanity going towards? You know what I'm saying? Where's that? Where's the moral value in it? By the way, you have support in the comment section. Shout out to Daniela. She says there's caseloads, and their caseload is ridiculous. Yeah, they don't do enough investigation. She says she feels for you. Yeah, it's
I appreciate that. Thank you.
This is well, I'll make sure that I tag New Bedford PD.
Yeah, they're sick of me.
Yeah, maybe I should. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe you come in there like a Spitfire and all that stuff, but
I don't like it.
Rightfully so. Like, what do you expect? Especially if you're already at the point of frustration now, because now you're not even you're not getting the help that you actually need. Has there been anybody that you could reach out to in either of those departments that have been at all helpful, or it's like you just been completely alone for the most part?
Yeah, I like to call it it's called stonewalling.
Yeah, that's
That's a
great, man.
stonewall. And like I talk to like this to I start out like this with, "Hi, how are you today? I'm calling because of this," and then immediately the tone will change, and then I'm like, "All right, cool."
Wow.
Like, I see, and I'm like, I'll tell them right away, like, "I understand it's hard for you to have to, like, listen to this, and, like, you probably don't want anything to do with this, and, like, I'm sorry that I have to bring it to your door, but, like, I have to. Like, I have no other choice, you know?" Like, my kids know who I am, and they're gonna know at the end of the day, they're gonna read all this paperwork, they're gonna see all this, and they're gonna say, "Mama did it. Mama did what she had to do, and I'm gonna help anyone who needs help to do it," because you have to stand on business. They don't care. And it's incentivized. They, instead of closing cases or giving you little services that you need, they'd rather just meddle,
Mm.
instead of like they opened that case for 3 months, and they sat on it while there was a drive-by and didn't even write about it in the reports.
Wow.
Yeah, like, they can't do stuff like that. That's not okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
not
right.
no.
No.
That doesn't even make any sense for them to just let that go like that.
Yeah, because if that had been me, that would be the front page of, "Oh, this girl's crazy. She had these kids in a raid. She had these kids in a drive-by." Like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine me having the nerve to come out here talking crap and then it's something like that? No. So,
Right.
that's why everyone's like, "You need to calm down. You need to relax." I am calm. This is very calm. I react though. I'm a reactive person, like, because you're not gonna just do things and say things to me and act like I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm
Mhm.
righteously indignant. I have an attitude, and I'm entitled to that. That's like my First Amendment rights. Like, sorry if you don't like my personality, but I don't really like theirs. I'm not really like digging it. So it's mutual at this point.
Mhm. I mean, and you're asking for help that you're not getting, which
Yeah,
is
like
which
I
is
I
which is
well,
bound to have some type of reaction. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I could say on the outskirt of this and say, like, yeah, just be patient with them if they're not being patient with you. But how much patience does a human being actually have to have? I mean,
right.
You said it was 2023, so we're 2025 now. It's 2 years. So this has been going on and building. And then, when's the last time that you spoke with anybody from, I guess child services, or I guess now it's under the control of the judiciary, right? Probate. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course there's been like several more calls to that office, but it's the same office. They get calls about him and they go, close it, close
Yeah.
it. They don't care because
Huh.
it's all the same people. It's I could name them off. They're all the same people that are involved in it from the first few times. So they don't care. They're all complicit, and they don't want to acknowledge that somebody was being nasty. And instead of correcting that worker and saying, "Oh, you messed up, Beth. That
Right.
was not right," they said, "Just sign it. Fuck that.
Mhm.
Fuck that feisty little
Yeah.
bird." They don't care. They don't care. So I'm of the mindset that they don't care about criminal activity. They don't care about felonies. They don't care about people getting drugged or whipped with
Mhm.
wires, or kids getting their collarbones broken, or kids being put on in places that are not safe, because he's never really been a father. So he
Mhm.
doesn't really know how to take care of little kids. And that's why he has women taking care of them for him. And just to add insult to injury to everything, it's like I never reported really the domestic violence unless to my medical provider or my family,
Mhm.
out of fear. But the first time I called the police for help, they didn't help me. And this is and then the DCF workers were like, "Why didn't you report the abuse?" I'm like, "Because of people like you. I
Mhm.
came for help. I've been so scared to tell what's been happening to me and my kids, and here I come to tell you, and yous do this? Like,
Right.
what the fuck?"
Right.
I really don't have any respect for them, or like any hope that I don't at all.
Jeez, man.
But
Yeah.
you gotta see it for what it is and appreciate the beast for what it is, and just look around to my community and say, who else is going through this with me? Who
Mhm.
needs help? How can we bind together and and show them that, yeah, no, we the
Yeah.
people.
So that was going to be my next question too. Like, where are you connected to, like, any organizations or any um
Yeah.
mother groups, or not even just that, just like community groups that are
Yeah.
trying to wage their position against, and also support positions against, what's going on, especially in a situation like yours.
Yeah. Definitely have found a lot of solidarity in several groups. I think I'm part of like 70, but
Mhm.
I am like partner to 2, which is
Mhm.
awesome. I runfuckdcf.com with
I
Paul,
see
my
that.
partner, which is like we're looking to turn that into resources too. Paul runs it. I just kind of promote for him, and he just does the dirty work, or I do the dirty work and he writes it, which is awesome. He's excellent, but also we want to just have like, and it's focused on Massachusetts. This is like a Massachusetts grassroots thing we're trying to do, and like tell Massachusetts stories, because Massachusetts is like really quiet about this. Like you won't
Sounds
really
like.
a lot in Rhode Island too. Rhode Island is very quiet.
Oh yeah,
But
they
I
don't
did
be talking about it. This
no,
is
they
all
don't.
dirty words we're talking right now in their language.
Yeah. But also there's PFAC Inc., which I just am new to the board there. They're parent advocates for people dealing with DCF, and domestic violence especially. So that's kind of near and dear to me, and it is a Massachusetts group too.
Mm.
Um, but like I know people from all over the world at this point, because this isn't just isolated to us. People in South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, UK. UK is really bad too, because they're
Mhm.
modeled. Their probate court is modeled after ours, or we're after them. Whatever.
You have less rights. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have less rights in the
It's
UK.
terrifying.
See videos all the time. It's like these guys, or like whatever, these people show up, and it's for something stupid. It's like their dog
Yeah,
barking or something like that, and it has nothing to do with children or whatever. It's very weird. And like these people come to their door, and and they demand entry, and they have some rights to say, like, no, you can't enter in. But eventually, because they don't have the same type of they have similar rights to us, but not in the same context as we do. Like we actually can say like, no, go get a warrant. You got
Right.
you can't gain entry. You know what I'm saying? Or but they'll use things. Oh, we're doing a health check or something like that. And then I think in the UK specifically, if they say that they're coming for a health check, like they have to be let in. It's a law for them to have to come in, and then so a lot of those people out there get like completely extorted from their rights. At least here we kind of do, but in your case and thousands of other cases similar to yours, regardless if you got rights or not, you're not being helped lawfully, which is your right. It's a civil right to be
heard.
Yeah, exactly, to be heard, especially with if there's proof and evidence of things going on. That's interesting. But yeah, other countries, it's global. And I look at it as this is that they want children, and I think you said it earlier, you were pressing upon, is that they want children in these circumstances, violent circumstances, or taken from their homes, or families split apart, and eventually they just kind of want the children. That's really where they're looking. I'm surprised, in this,
I'm
surprised like they're not doing that. So
right, I was surprised too. I'm like, oh. But
right.
that says something also. It's like,
right. It does say something. What is that about?
Right. Like, I can't wait to see what they say about me, because I'm like, it's got to be something good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm waiting.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you got to find a judge that's going to be like,
yeah, like that doesn't feel bad for all the stuff, or talking about all the social workers that she knows and that she deals with all the time. Like, I should probably have a change of venue and not be dealing with this court at all, because it's too close to the issue.
Yeah, I mean, does it have to be in the town of New Bedford?
Oh, no, it doesn't. I will never step foot into another Bristol County courthouse at all. They're totally abusive and malevolent. Like, I've had numerous issues, and that's why I always record. And I'm entitled to record. That's my my constitutional right.
Yep.
And I record them because
That's the First Amendment right.
That's right. And I First Amendment audited them by accident. I didn't even come there to do that the other day.
I think I saw that video. You were, I mean, rightfully so. From according to the video, it sounded like the cop pushed you or something like that. This was one of the videos.
Yeah.
You like getting pushed out of the courtroom. You were asking for everybody's badge number, and the guy said, "I'm not going to give you my badge number because you won't calm down." He already violated. Yeah. He already violated right there. They're supposed to identify regardless.
Yeah. And I grew up with that dude too, so I think he feels like especially bad. That's why he's like, "Why are you acting like this?" Like, he wish I would just act right, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, like, I am acting right." Like,
good reason, I think. You're going in there trying to get this thing situated, and these people aren't trying to help you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the police have to be the front line of getting that brunt force. So, listen, identify yourself and don't put your hands on people. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I had my computer open because I'm pro se. I have to have my laptop, because I'm in there with. I had like a bag full of like 300 documents. I printed everything I could known to man, but I also had my presentation up on my laptop, so I needed it. And I was connected to the court Wi-Fi, and I needed that too. So I had my laptop open, but I wasn't recording anyone else. But I walked into the court and I saw my abuser, and I didn't want to have my back to him, so I turned his way. And that's when the CO said something to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't have to do anything." Respectfully, every time I come in here, you guys are up my ass. And I think that's because you fucked up, and you don't. I'm sorry if I'm swearing. I don't even know if that's allowed.
No, you're good. Listen, this is freedom of speech.
Well, if you watch that video, my name on TikTok is "fuck all that noise." So it's my favorite word. It's kind of just like how I talk. But yeah. So yeah, he told me that, and it immediately escalated because he was mad. I immediately closed my laptop though when I saw that he was just being a dick. I was like, fine. I closed it. And he just kept on going. And I was like, actually, you're wrong. I'm like, actually, it's against the law what you're saying. I can record if I want to. And I wasn't taking pictures of anyone. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I was trying to record my abuse. Like, I have a right to do so. And, he was like, open that laptop one more time. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
And I did. I did. Because what are you gonna do to me? Because I
Right.
opened a laptop that I'm allowed to have and that I need for my case? You're gonna threaten me? Cool. So he put his hands on me,
Mm.
and took me out of the courtroom, which is fine. I did not wanna be in there anyway with that dude. I didn't wanna be in there. I'm scared. To be honest, I'm terrified. I suffer from trauma. I suffer, like, real time from this,
Mhm.
so I was glad to be out of there, and I was appearing specially anyway under duress. So they let me go, but while we were walking, they just kept putting their hands on me, and I'm like, "Get your fucking hands off of me.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta touch me. I'm moving and grooving, like,
They love
stop
to
it."
touch people. I don't get it. They just do. They just love touching people. I don't know.
Yeah, and then but they also then they took my phone,
Mm.
like, snatched it out of my hand. That's a crime. You can't do
That's
that.
theft. That's theft.
Yeah, it's called taking.
Yeah.
So, all of that, and then it's all in camera, so they don't wanna, whatever. And they didn't wanna give me the badge numbers, which obviously that's not okay. And I was calm because you heard me ask him. I asked him 2 times, and they were just staring at me like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Name a badge number." They're just
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, "Name a badge number." And they just like,
Mhm.
and I said, "Name a badge number." "Oh, if you calm down." So
Yeah,
I'm the
see,
problem.
they wanna escalate it, and then they say you're the issue when they're escalating it, then oh my god.
Yeah, it's just a game, and it's like I play into it every time, but it's also like I want people to see the abuses. Like I'm being abused. I'm just reacting. I'm just a person. I'm not like some perfect little chick that like came out of the boonies and like I know how to act. I'm just me. I'm
Mm,
just dealing with it, and I can't pretend that it's not affecting me and that like they're not doing shit that's wrong. Like I have to protect myself, and if they don't like that I'm protecting myself, that should alarm everybody. That
mhm,
should let everybody know that they're doing this to more than just me and you and them. They're doing
mm,
this on a grand scale, and we should be deeply concerned.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I mean, I have friends that go through court systems, sometimes smoother than others, other times not so much, and there's a lot of horror stories out there. You know what I mean? And especially if you're not dealing with, uh, people who are cooperative on the other side, or if there's,
trauma.
trauma or lies being told against you. And also when the courts aren't doing their job on finding out the evidence and declaring on what's the right thing to do, and especially um DCF not doing their job on that end too, and not taking your word seriously and what you filed away, or whatever your children had filed also. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you're definitely in a war for sure, spiritually and physically,
Yeah,
um, as we all are, unfortunately,
true.
unfortunately, but it's an uphill battle. But yeah, I mean, I think you gotta move it to a different court if you
Venue.
can. Yeah, in a different venue. Um,
Yeah,
but I
for
mean, this
sure.
is something that's like could be, because there's so many people out there that are dealing with this same type of situation, like
I'm
probably
shocked.
probably identical. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you
Yeah.
I'm not s- I'm not always surprised what the system does, but every time I get surprised at what the
Yeah.
system does. Like you got human beings that are looking for help, looking for the safety of themselves and their family, and yet you have other human beings on the other line just looking at it as like, well, it's just another one, it's just another one,
Yeah.
just another one. Move along.
Tuesday.
They're too wild. They're too like what? You can't look beyond that and figure out like the priority is safety. The priority is safety, and
Exactly.
they work in public safety. So it's like what are you doing?
Right. And if you were gonna hire somebody, this is how I say it. If you have 2 people in front of you and you say, "Okay, let me just look at their criminal records and see who I'm gonna hire." Are you gonna hire me or the dad?
Right.
Are you gonna ask me for a reference, or are you gonna ask the father for a reference?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not now because I'm buck wild and I'm being ridiculous out here, but I'm
But
saying as a
buck wild isn't a crime.
no, it's
You know,
not, and
and
it actually
and
makes
buck
things
wild can
fun.
be taken out of context. Like you're loud. All right, she's loud. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
she's.
loud because
I mean, are you taking in? Are you considering why she's loud? Are you answering her questions? Are you being respectful?
no.
You know what I'm saying, so it's like loud's not a crime. You could be as loud as you want to be. It's not a crime.
Yeah.
May annoy them, but it's not a crime.
Straight up. I appreciate that because everyone's like, "No, no." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What? They're fucking with me." I'm like,
Well,
I
that's the
don't know.
thing too. Like how much? I mean, how are people supposed to expect someone to have patience, especially when it's almost like a desperate situation right now? You wouldn't be in the courts if you weren't actively. First of all, you wouldn't be in the courts if you weren't a mother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you weren't actively trying to be a mother, right?
Right.
If you didn't care, you just wouldn't be in the courts. I mean,
Exactly.
and it would be end of the
Mhm.
story. But you're in the courts, so it's not like you're wasting your time to be
Yeah.
there. So yeah, I mean, don't like. That's another thing. Like if you've ever gotten like any heat from anybody that says like, oh, why is she wilding out? Like, dude, that's her family. I mean,
My
no,
kids.
it's her kids. She's a mom. Obviously, she suffered some type of abuse where she got evidence of. It sounds like there's a deep legal battle going on to a point. And on top of that, she's facing the judiciary system and probate courts and DCF. You got like you being loud and obnoxious to somebody is the least of the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you
I
have
become the
every right.
problem
Mhm.
because when I become the problem, they are not the problem.
Right.
So I'm the
Yeah.
problem. And I'll be the problem. That's fine.
And
You
that
know.
sounds like how they're trying to justify it. It's like, oh, this lady again. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's how it's gonna have to be because they're not gonna they're gonna remember my name forever.
Be louder.
And
You got to get. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, don't be violent. You know what I'm
oh,
saying?
never. No, yeah, never. Like I want to be an example for my kids. Like I want my
Right.
kids to know that like when they were gone from me that I was helping other people with their kids because I know how
Mm,
bad it hurt and how bad it hurt my kids.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. I really can. Like,
Yeah.
I could only imagine the fight that you're in because I'm a parent too. I'm a father. You know what I'm saying? So
You have a beautiful family, you guys.
thank you,
You really do.
thank you. God bless me with that.
Amen.
Yeah,
Keep it
amen.
together, brother. Keep it together.
Yeah, I know. So I feel for people out there, and you know, it sucks seeing things like this. You know what I'm saying? Especially when, because man, if it was me,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, it'd be war. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that just because I can feel the heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I pray that God intervenes with all of this for you and for your children and your family, and I pray that it's as peaceful as possible.
Thank
You know
you.
what? The system that we face is part of the devil's weapon. So, you
Amen.
know, we're all God's children in this, and some of these people who are part of the devil's weapons, they're God's children too, but they're lost, and you know, not a lot of men's hearts are turning cold and all that stuff. So, I want you to, you know, be strong. You're in my prayers already with this, and
Thank you.
I'm watching your timeline. I'm watching your case, and if this helps in any way, I hope it does.
It definitely
Um,
will. I appreciate you taking the time and what you're doing and your platform and for reaching out. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've definitely been paying attention and wanted to get you on here. I hate seeing things like this. I really do. It breaks my heart, makes me angry. I don't like these kind of stories. I really don't, but they're real, and there's a lot of them out there. And I appreciate your bravery for speaking about it.
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of women out there, a lot of families out there, a lot of children out there, even fathers out
You're
there
scared.
that deal with these things, and they're afraid. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid or ashamed. You know, sometimes people when they mention DCF is like, oh, what are they just, you know, hurting the kids and all that stuff? It's not always that situation. It's really not. It's really not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes kids are being taken away for the dumbest reasons because, like I said, someone's calling the cops because their dog's barking. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with their kids, but for whatever reason. But in this type of situation, there's abuse. There's you know, the fear of life, the fear of being, you know, their lives being threatened and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. And you know, and I pray for the father too. You know, now, you know,
Amen.
I know
No, I
that you
respect it.
know
I
that you have.
appreciate that.
I pray for the father. I really do, and I mean this. If this ever were to come across that person's way, I pray for the heart. I pray for the devil to escape you and rebuke from you.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Amen. So, Becca, I appreciate you
Thank
for
you.
coming. Is there anything else that for anybody, or a message that you want to put out there, or anyone that you want them to that people could follow you? I know you put the website there. Fuck DCF.
Yeah. Well, I'm Becca BeckaRayy on Facebook. I have a blue check mark. You can find me that way. Fuck all that noise on TikTok, but you can find my TikTok from my Facebook. And also, of course, fuckdcf.com. And you can reach me through there. My email is there. And if you guys need any help with DCF, I don't care what stage you're in. If you need help writing motion, whatever you need. If you don't have a lawyer, I'll help you. I'm not a lawyer, but I know a little bit and I can show you some things. So anybody who needs anything, I try to help.
Nice. Good. Yeah, stay in the fight. Be strong.
Thank you.
God's
I
with you.
appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? God's with your children too. And
You as well.
it will prevail eventually. I know it will prevail. Keep yourself positive as possible, and be as loud as you need to be. You know what I'm saying? People are going to call you obnoxious and wild and ghetto and ratchet, but you're fighting for your children. So that's it. None of that matters. You know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
I appreciate
that.
I really do. I appreciate you bravely coming on here and talking about this. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Awesome.
So I appreciate you. Everybody that's tuned in to The True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble, make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe on The True Perspective, the TRU Perspective. Becca, God bless you. Love you.
Thank you.
Keep your head up, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say it.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us had to be brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling
I can only show you the door.
to awaken others.
You're the one that has to walk through it.
Spreading a message.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is clearly
Time is coming.
at a
Train
tipping
can't be stopped. Momentum is
Right?
already here.